Good evening. One of the largest defense contractors in Europe is making a play for a piece of this country's military market.
We, as Saab, we are prepared to do that technology transfer to Canada and support that build-up.
10,000 research and manufacturing jobs could land in Canada if Ottawa adds the Swedish fighter jet to its military fleet.
Something quiet but consequential unfolded behind closed doors in Ottawa, and its effects are still rippling through military alliances, defense industries, and strategic planning circles. A decision was made that challenged long-standing assumptions about loyalty, dependence, and how modern power is built. This was not a routine procurement choice or a budget-driven compromise. It was a deliberate pivot that forced allies to reconsider what security means in an era shaped by software control, data sovereignty, and industrial leverage. By the end of this story, the meaning of air power looks markedly different. The decision arrived without a press spectacle or dramatic announcement, yet its impact landed hard in Washington. Canada, a founding partner in NORAD and one of America's most reliable defense allies, declined the F-35 program and selected Sweden's Gripen E instead. On paper, the choice appeared unexpected. The F-35 dominates Western air forces, anchors joint operations, and has become a symbol of alliance cohesion. But beneath the surface, Ottawa's reasoning went far deeper than cost curves or performance metrics at its core. The choice was about control, autonomy, and the ability to defend national interests without reliance on systems governed beyond national borders. For years, the F-35 has been promoted as a centerpiece of a future battlefield defined by connectivity. Every aircraft functions as a node in a vast digital network. Sensors talk to sensors, pilots see the battlefield through fused data, and command centers receive uninterrupted streams of real-time intelligence. That vision is powerful, but it comes with conditions. The software architecture, mission systems, diagnostics, and update cycles of the F-35 remain tightly controlled by American contractors. Nations operating the aircraft gain access to capability, but not ownership of the system itself. Permissions are centralized, access is conditional, and sovereignty becomes filtered through external approval processes. Canada examined that reality and saw a problem unfolding over decades, not years. Air power no longer rests solely on A-frames and engines. It depends on software updates, encrypted diagnostics, algorithmic decision systems, and data pipelines that define how an aircraft fights, survives, and evolves. Without authority over those elements, operational independence erodes quietly over time. Every modification, upgrade, or repair becomes a negotiation. That model works for some allies. Ottawa concluded it would not work for Canada. The Gripen E offered a fundamentally different philosophy. Saab designed the aircraft around the principle that the operator controls the system. The agreement extended far beyond delivery timelines and pricing. It included software access, domestic modification rights, and full sustainment authority. Canadian technicians will be able to maintain, upgrade, and adapt the platform without external gatekeepers. Assembly, maintenance, and future integration would take place on Canadian soil. This shifted the relationship from customer to owner, and that distinction shaped the entire decision. Nowhere does that philosophy matter more than in the Arctic. Canada's geography is unforgiving. Extreme cold, high winds, sparse infrastructure, and vast distances define northern operations. Aircraft operating there must be resilient, adaptable, and capable of functioning far from pristine bases. The Gripen was designed for environments where winter dominates a calendar. It can operate from short, rough runways, including highways and austere forward strips. It requires less ground infrastructure and fewer personnel to remain mission-ready. The contrast becomes sharp when runway requirements and maintenance logistics enter the discussion. The F-35 performs best from long, carefully maintained runways supported by specialized systems. The Gripen can launch from roughly 800 meters of roadway, refuel quickly, and disperse to multiple locations. That capability changes the logic of air defense in the north. Instead of concentrating assets at a handful of major bases, aircraft can be spread across wide areas, complicating adversary targeting and improving survivability during high-intensity scenarios. Russia understands the strategic value of the Arctic and has invested heavily in northern infrastructure. New airfields, radar networks, and icebreaker fleets signal long-term intent. As climate change opens shipping routes and exposes undersea resources, competition intensifies. Canada's ability to monitor and defend one of the world's largest territories depends on sustained air presence in remote regions. Aging CF-18s struggle to meet that demand, often requiring frequent returns to base. The Gripen alters that equation by maintaining high sortie rates even in severe weather. Electronic warfare further strengthens the case. The Gripen systems are designed to degrade enemy sensors and disrupt targeting networks rather than relying solely on extreme stealth. Its modular maintenance concept allows small teams to perform engine swaps and repairs rapidly at forward sites. In a contested environment where major bases may be threatened, dispersed operations keep air power active rather than grounded. Washington's response remained mostly behind diplomatic doors, but the concern was clear. Meetings were requested, assessments conducted, and warnings issued about interoperability and alliance cohesion. The unease ran deeper than a single contract. If a close ally could step outside the F-35 ecosystem, others might reconsider their own assumptions. Quiet questions began to surface in European capitals about long-term operating costs, maintenance dependency, and industrial participation. NATO's technical realities ultimately softened those fears. Interoperability depends on standards, training, and shared doctrine, not identical aircraft. Canada's choice did not signal a retreat from alliances. It signaled a recalibration of sovereignty in an age where power is increasingly defined by who controls the code behind the cockpit. The Gripen integrates seamlessly with alliance data links, weapon systems, and established communication standards. Joint exercises do require procedural adjustments, but those changes remain manageable and well within NATO norms. Analysts consistently point out that true interoperability depends on shared doctrine, training, and coordination rather than identical equipment. In fact, diversification across allied forces can strengthen collective resilience by reducing single points of failure and technological dependency within the alliance. Industrial impact proved decisive in shaping Canada's choice. The Gripen Agreement includes final assembly in Montreal, extensive domestic manufacturing, and long-term workforce development. Thousands of Canadian engineers receive advanced training, while local firms become embedded in the aircraft's global supply chain. Universities gain access to avionics research and systems development opportunities, reinforcing national expertise in advanced aerospace technologies. Defense spending circulates within the domestic economy instead of flowing outward, rebuilding capabilities that once defined Canadian innovation before earlier strategic decisions shifted them elsewhere. Maintenance autonomy ultimately seals the argument. When software or systems issues arise on platforms controlled externally, resolution depends on schedules, permissions, and access control beyond national borders. With the Gripen, Canadian crews can diagnose and resolve issues independently. Aircraft return to service faster, operational planning remains under national control, and mission readiness improves. This authority extends beyond efficiency into trust, particularly when operations involve sensitive national interests or require rapid decision-making without external approval. Pilot training benefits follow naturally. The cockpit emphasizes intuitive design and effective workload management, reducing training timelines and allowing faster pilot readiness. Force generation becomes more flexible and operational depth improves. Sensor fusion meets modern combat expectations, yet customization remains possible. Canada can adapt algorithms for Arctic conditions, integrate domestic early warning systems, and tailor mission software without seeking external permission. Technology aligns with geography rather than forcing geography to adapt to externally imposed technical limits. Politically, the message is unmistakable. Canada evaluates defense decisions based on national requirements rather than external pressure. This approach repositions a country as an independent strategic actor within alliances rather than a passive participant. The ripple effects extend beyond Ottawa. Other nations are studying the model, not necessarily to replicate it outright, but to understand alternatives that balance collective security with national sovereignty. Alliances do not weaken when members assert capability. They evolve. Flexibility, adaptability, and mutual respect define durable partnerships. For Washington, the lesson is clear. Allies are not captive markets. They are sovereign states balancing shared defense obligations with long-term national control. For mid-sized nations observing closely, the message resonates even more strongly. Security and sovereignty are not opposing forces when strategy aligns technology with national interests. Canada now holds authority over its air power future. Arctic Defense operates without external permission. Upgrades occur on national timelines. Skilled engineers build careers at home, and defense spending strengthens communities while enhancing operational capability. This moment signals maturity rather than defiance, and independence rather than isolation. The Gripen stands as proof that strategic autonomy remains achievable in a deeply interconnected world. That same philosophy is reflected in another significant defense decision. The federal government has selected Bombardier to supply 6 Global 6500 aircraft for the Royal Canadian Air Force, marking one of the first major procurements managed through the newly established Defence Investment Agency. Valued at $753 million Canadian dollars, the contract initiates a retirement of the CC-144 Challenger fleet, which has served reliably for decades but increasingly struggles to meet modern operational demands. Deliveries are scheduled to begin in the summer of 2027, with initial operational capability expected before the end of that year. The accelerated timeline reflects a clear intent to move faster than past procurement cycles allowed. These aircraft are being acquired under the Airlift Capability Project Multi-Role Flight Service, a program designed to emphasize flexibility rather than narrow specialization. Once operational, the Global 6500 will support a wide range of missions, including aeromedical evacuation, humanitarian assistance, disaster relief, and national security operations both within Canada and abroad. The contract also includes aircrew training, maintenance instruction, and a full suite of military-specific modifications, ensuring the aircraft enter service ready for immediate use rather than requiring years of additional adaptation operationally. The program addresses a capability gap that has become increasingly difficult to ignore. While dependable, the CC-144 Challengers lack the range, payload, and flexibility required for today's missions. Recent domestic emergencies and overseas operations expose these limitations, forcing workarounds that reduce responsiveness and increase logistical strain. Taken together, the Global 6500 fleet represents a meaningful evolution in Canada's approach to strategic airlift, delivering substantial improvements in range, reliability, and mission endurance. That's all for today. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And before you go, subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks for tuning in.